Welcome to our channel, the place where small coins tell big stories. Some dimes in your pocket change could be far rarer than you think. These tiny coins may look ordinary, but a few are hiding incredible value. Let's take a closer look at these ultra-rare 1-dime coins you'll definitely want to check for. Have you ever taken a moment to really look at your change? Most of us don't. We drop coins in a jar or pass them along at the store without a second thought. But every so often, one of those coins isn't quite like the others. Every so often, there's one that's quietly unique, easy to miss, but impossible to ignore once you know what to look for. That's the case with a certain dime from 1972. It's a Roosevelt dime. The same design that's been in circulation since the mid-1940s. You've probably seen it thousands of times, a familiar coin with the profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on one side, and a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch on the other. Standard. Ordinary. Or so it seems. But in 1972, something unusual happened. A small number of Roosevelt dimes were released without a mint mark. That's the tiny letter that tells you where the coin was made. On most coins from that era, you'd see a small D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or a P for Philadelphia. But in this case, there was nothing. Just the year, 1972. At first glance, that missing mark might not seem important. But in the world of coin collecting, small details matter, a lot. Let's take a step back. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, the year after FDR's death. It was created quickly, and replaced the Mercury dime in order to honor Roosevelt's leadership and his work with the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio. The design hasn't changed much since. By 1972, coin production was well established at the major U.S. mints. Each mint had its own mark, added to help identify where coins were struck. So, when a coin was released without that identifying mark, it meant something had gone off script. In most cases, missing mint marks are the result of a simple error, either the die wasn't engraved properly, or the collar that holds the coin in place during striking didn't leave the mark as it should. These mistakes are rare. And most are caught before the coins ever leave the mint. But sometimes, a few get through. That's what makes the 1972 no-mint mark dime so interesting. It wasn't supposed to exist. But it does. Very few of these dimes have been found over the years. We don't know exactly how many were made without the mint mark, but it's safe to say it's a small number. And even fewer have survived in good condition. That's another piece of the puzzle, condition. Coin collectors place a lot of importance on how well a coin has been preserved. Has it been scratched? Worn down from circulation? Or does it still look sharp and clean, like it did when it was first made? There's a formal system for grading coins, from poor all the way up to mint state. And the higher the grade, the more desirable the coin becomes to collectors. That's especially true when the coin in question is already rare, like this 1972 dime without its mint mark. What's especially fascinating is how these coins sometimes come to light. They might be sitting in a drawer, passed down through a family, or mixed in with pocket change. People often don't realize what they have until they take a closer look, or show it to someone who knows what to watch for. Some collectors spend years looking for unusual coins like this. Others stumble across them by accident. It's that sense of mystery that makes coin collecting so rewarding for many people. You never really know what you'll find. Now, this coin might look just like every other dime. But there's something very different about it. The missing mint mark turns it into a piece of minting history. And when it's found in near-perfect condition, it becomes something even more, something collectors get very excited about. So, how do you know if you've got one? Start by checking the date. You're looking for a 1972 Roosevelt dime. Then, look just to the right of the torch on the back of the coin. That's where the mint mark would usually be. If it's missing, and everything else on the coin looks right, you might be holding something unusual. But be careful. Not every coin without a visible mint mark is valuable. Some marks wear off with time. Others might have been altered. That's why authentication is so important. Reputable coin grading companies can confirm whether your coin is the real deal. If it is, you'll want to handle it carefully. Store it properly. Avoid cleaning it. Cleaning a coin can actually reduce its value. Instead, protect it and consider getting it graded and certified by a professional. Because while it might look like a dime, it's also a piece of American history. A small mistake that became a rare treasure. And now, finally, after all that background, you might be wondering, just how rare is it? And what's it worth? Well, here's the big reveal. One of these 1972 Roosevelt dimes without a mint mark, found in exceptional condition and graded professionally, sold at auction for $84,000. Yes, you heard that right. A simple dime, worth 10 cents in your hand, turned out to be worth more than most cars. All because of one tiny missing mark. So next time you empty your pockets or sort through a pile of coins, take a moment. Look a little closer. Because among the ordinary, you just might find something truly remarkable. Next up, we have another dime, but this one, too, holds a story that sets it apart from the billions just like it. At first glance, there's nothing unusual about the 1988 Roosevelt Dime. It's small, silver-toned, and carries a design we've all seen hundreds, maybe thousands of times. Roosevelt's profile on the front, facing left. The word liberty pressed firmly along the edge. The phrase "In God We Trust" just beneath his chin. Flip it over, and there's the torch, flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of peace and strength. It's familiar. Almost invisible in its commonness. But not all dimes are created equal. In 1988, the Denver Mint produced an extraordinary number of dimes, over 962 million. The goal was efficiency, volume, and consistency. Machines rolled day and night, pressing blank planchets into circulation-ready coins. Most came out exactly as expected. But a few didn't. Within that mountain of production, a handful of dimes emerged that were struck under exceptional circumstances. Not dramatic errors, no wildly off-center images or missing designs, but coins that were perfectly struck and perfectly preserved. Coins that looked like the blueprint version of what a dime was always meant to be. And that brings us to a remarkable 1988 Denver dime, a coin that looks ordinary until you begin to look closer. Much closer. The first thing collectors notice is the clarity. Every line of Roosevelt's hair is defined. The lettering is bold, the date crisp. There's no flattening, no blurring, and no soft spots, indicators of a strong strike and a fresh die. The coin's surface reflects light with a silken brilliance, not quite mirror-like, but more radiant than what most people would ever expect from something pulled out of a change jar. But where the real excitement comes in is the reverse of the coin, specifically the torch. Across that torch are horizontal lines called bands. These are often the first details to fade, either from weak striking or years of handling. But on this coin, the bands are complete, fully separated and sharply defined. Collectors call this full bands, and it's a sign of precision that's rarely seen on circulated dimes from the late 1980s. Even coins that avoided the wear and tear of daily use often left the mint with slightly soft details. The dies used to press them simply wore down too quickly. That's what makes this coin stand out. It was struck with power, accuracy, and on a pristine planchet, a blank that was flawless before ever being pressed. The result? A dime that looks untouched by time. And let's not forget the environment it survived in. Most coins from 1988 were used heavily. They bought newspapers, snacks, phone calls. They sat in drawers, scraped against other coins, or lived at the bottom of purses and pockets. For a coin to avoid all of that, to retain its factory finish across decades, is incredibly rare. And that rarity multiplies when paired with perfect strike and preserved luster. But what makes this particular example truly fascinating isn't just its surface. It's what collectors and grading experts noticed during closer examination. Slight characteristics, minor misalignment in design edges, clean rims, planchet flow lines, signs that the coin was struck at the exact right moment of press calibration. Neither too early nor too late in the die's life. Just right. That moment when a coin passes through a perfectly tuned press, with clean dies and consistent pressure, is when the finest specimens are born. This isn't something that can be replicated. It's not a mistake. It's not a fluke. It's simply a moment of precision, caught in metal. Over time, only a small number of 1988 D dimes have been certified at the highest levels. Most top out at MS-65 or MS-66. But this coin, graded at MS-67 with full bands, surpassed the norm. It reached that elite category where a modern coin, despite being relatively young and common in date, becomes highly desirable. Some collectors may wonder, why care so much about a coin from the 80s? And the answer lies in how coin values are determined. Age is just one factor. Rarity, demand, quality of strike, and condition all weigh heavily. In this case, the condition and clarity are so uncommon that they've elevated this dime far above the rest. Another interesting detail. This coin wasn't part of a collection passed down for generations. It wasn't stashed away by someone who knew its future value. In fact, it's believed it may have been pulled from an original bankroll, stored away and forgotten until a collector happened to spot something special. That's the thing about coins like this. Their stories are often quiet, unnoticed, but powerful, once uncovered. This is the kind of coin that captures attention not by shouting, but by standing still. It doesn't flash its rarity, it reveals it, slowly, to those willing to look closely. It's a piece of craftsmanship as much as it is currency. And so, we come to the value. Not what it once was. Not 10 cents. Not even $10. The current value of this 1988 Roosevelt Dime, certified at MS-67 with full bands, preserved in nearly flawless condition, is $67,000. Don't go anywhere, because our next coin has a story you won't want to miss. The 2007 Roosevelt Dime might seem like just another coin in your pocket. Small, silver-colored, easily overlooked among the clutter of everyday change. It's the kind of coin you might find at the bottom of your purse or between the couch cushions. But if you pause for a moment and look closer, you'll discover it carries a story, one about craftsmanship, subtle rarity, and a surprising worth far beyond its face value. The Roosevelt Dime has been a constant presence in American currency for decades. First introduced in 1946 as a tribute to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, the dime honors a man known for his leadership during some of the most challenging times in American history, including the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt's connection to the dime is particularly fitting because of his association with the March of Dimes, a campaign dedicated to fighting polio. Fast forward to 2007. That year, the Denver Mint was bustling with activity, churning out over 1 billion Roosevelt dimes. The process was efficient, automated, and designed to produce coins for everyday use, paying for parking meters, vending machines, and countless small purchases nationwide. On the surface, the 2007 Denver dime looks much like the ones before it, carrying the familiar profile of Roosevelt on the front and the iconic torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the back. But in the world of coin collecting, it's rarely the obvious that captures attention. Instead, collectors look for those subtle differences, the fine details that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. One of the most important features for collectors when it comes to the Roosevelt dime is something called full bands. This refers to the horizontal bands crossing the torch on the coin's reverse side. For many coins, these bands are faint or worn down over time because they're one of the first details to show where as the coin circulates. But when these bands are fully visible, sharply defined, and completely separated, it indicates a coin was struck with great force and precision, a sign of quality that can increase a coin's desirability significantly. But why does this matter? Well, with millions of dimes produced in any given year, it's the quality of the strike and the condition of the coin that make all the difference. Many 2007 Denver dimes have circulated widely and show signs of wear. They have lost their original mint luster and the details have faded. However, some coins were struck exceptionally well and have been preserved in remarkable condition, making them stand out. Producing millions of coins is a huge industrial undertaking involving complex machinery and human oversight. And while the process is highly refined, minor variations inevitably occur. Sometimes a coin might be struck slightly off-center, or show double designs, or possess a tiny flaw in the metal blank. Most such variations are minor and escape notice, but for collectors, they add layers of intrigue. Among the billions of 2007 Denver dimes, only a very small percentage remain in near-perfect condition with full bands intact. These coins have avoided the typical scratches, nicks, and fading that most coins experience through circulation. They still shine with the original brilliance that made them special the day they left the mint. Finding one of these coins, especially graded at MS 65 or higher, which means it's uncirculated and has very few imperfections, is like finding a rare gem. It's not just about the coin itself, but the story it tells, a story of survival, of careful preservation, and sometimes, of pure luck. What's truly fascinating about the 2007 Roosevelt Dime is that it's not known for dramatic errors or flashy mistakes. Instead, its appeal lies in subtle perfection. This quiet rarity appeals to collectors who appreciate the finer details of minting quality, those tiny distinctions that separate a common coin from a collectible treasure. This dime, small and unassuming, is a snapshot of a moment in time when metal, machinery, and craftsmanship aligned perfectly. It's a reminder of the meticulous work that goes into producing coins meant to last. Collectors often examine these coins with magnifying lenses, inspecting the luster, the sharpness of every line, and the integrity of the metal. The better the coin scores in these areas, the higher the grade it receives. That grade, certified by professional services like PCGS or NGC, not only authenticates the coin but also affects its market value. Over the years, the value of coins like the 2007 Denver Roosevelt Dime with full bands has steadily increased, especially as collectors recognize the scarcity of coins in such pristine condition. And now, after years of quietly existing in collections or stored away in rolls, this dime's value has reached a remarkable level. So, before we reveal the exact figure, let me just say, this is a perfect example of how sometimes the most ordinary items around us can carry hidden value, waiting to be discovered. The current collector value of this 2007 Roosevelt Dime, preserved in pristine condition with full bands, is approximately $28,000. It's a surprising reminder that history, rarity, and value often hide in the smallest details and in the least expected places. So next time you come across a dime from 2007, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. You might just be holding a little piece of history worth far more than you ever imagined. Moving on to another interesting piece from the world of American coinage, let's talk about the 2007 USA 1 Dime P coin. At first glance, it looks like your everyday dime, small and silver, easily overlooked among the handful of coins in your pocket or the change jar on your dresser. But if you take a closer look, you'll find this coin holds a quiet significance that's captured the attention of collectors and numismatists around the world. The 2007 dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most prolific mints in the United States. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes, intended for widespread circulation across the country. It's easy to assume that any coin from such a massive production run would be common and hold little interest. However, the story of this particular dime goes deeper than just its numbers. What sets the 2007 Philadelphia dime apart isn't some glaring error or obvious mistake, it's subtlety. Collectors prize this coin primarily for its quality and condition, particularly the presence of what's known as full bands on the reverse side of the dime. If you've never heard of this before, it refers to the horizontal bands that cross the torch in the coin's design. These bands symbolize strength and unity, but they tend to wear down quickly with use. Over time, as dimes pass through countless hands, these bands often become faint or disappear entirely. So, when a coin comes off the press with sharply defined and fully separated bands, and manages to retain this feature decades later, it instantly becomes noteworthy. This full bands feature signals a strong strike and excellent preservation, which are key factors that make the coin desirable to collectors. Why does the strike quality matter so much? Well, the minting process involves stamping a metal blank, called a planchet, with engraved dies under immense pressure. This process transfers the intricate design details onto the coin's surface. However, variations occur from batch to batch, and even from coin to coin. Some strikes are stronger and capture every line and contour crisply, while others might be softer, resulting in less detail. In 2007, the Philadelphia Mint was known for maintaining consistent quality, but even so, only a small portion of coins were struck with the strength needed to produce these full bands. This means that among the millions produced, only a fraction can be considered truly exceptional in this regard. Condition plays a crucial role too. Coins that remain in uncirculated or near mint condition without scratches, discoloration, or wear are exceedingly rare, especially after more than a decade of potential circulation. Most coins from 2007 have experienced some degree of handling, making those that have preserved their original luster all the more valuable. Collectors and grading professionals look closely at these coins, using magnification to examine every detail: the sharpness of Roosevelt's profile on the front, the clarity of the torch and branches on the back, and the brightness of the surface itself. Coins that meet strict standards for quality receive higher grades, which can significantly increase their market appeal. While this dime may not have the dramatic flair of error coins or rare mint marks, its rarity comes from the combination of strong strike quality and exceptional preservation. It's a quiet kind of rarity that appeals to collectors who appreciate subtle nuances and the craftsmanship behind everyday currency. This coin also reflects the broader story of American coinage, a reminder of the meticulous care and precision that goes into producing money designed to last and circulate widely. Each coin is a small piece of history, carrying with it decades of use and countless stories. It's fascinating to think about how something so small has journeyed through so many hands, remaining intact and pristine against the odds. The rarity of such a coin speaks not only to its quality but to the luck and care of those who preserved it over the years. In fact, coins like this often become a source of pride for collectors, not just for their potential value, but as tangible connections to history and craftsmanship. They remind us that value isn't always obvious at first glance. Sometimes, it lies hidden in the details, waiting for those who know where to look. So, if you happen to find a 2007 Philadelphia dime that still shines with sharp details and clear full bands on the torch, it's worth holding onto. It's not just pocket change, it could be a valuable collectible. Depending on its condition and current collector interest, such a coin might be worth thousands of dollars. In the world of numismatics, it's often these subtle qualities and the rarity of pristine condition that determine a coin's value. The 2007 1 P coin is a perfect example of how even the most familiar and widely circulated coins can surprise us with their hidden worth. Next time you come across this dime, take a moment to appreciate the story behind it. It might be more valuable than you think. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. We share new videos every day about rare coins you might already have. Drop a comment below if you've come across something interesting or just want to share your thoughts. We always love hearing from you, and don't forget to share this with friends or family who might be sitting on a hidden treasure. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.